Welcome back to Proud Masculine. I'm Joe, and today's topic is going to be what the healing and change process looks like. That leveling up, that growth period. And the truth of the matter is, it's a real roller coaster. It's a roller coaster full of ups, downs, these plateaus. Just when you think everything's about to get normal, you're slowly on the ascent, you're up, 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 and then just the bottom drops out. You're having another bad time. You go from overwhelmingly happy and content, and you get these thoughts like, finally, things are leveling out. I'm starting to gain some peace of mind, some clarity, some sanity, some self-worth. All these things are coming back, and then boom, out of nowhere, you're back in the fucking hole again. And back in the depths of questioning everything, and back into the grief. So, and this is all taking place in the context of a breakup, and it has to do directly with breaking up, going into no contact, and beginning that process of no contact and adhering to it. And and a lot of my videos, from experience and from helping men and helping people through this difficult recovery process, that the main thing I preach during no contact is, in this no contact period, is the time when you do the work on yourself. You've given them their space, they're respecting this breakup, you've given it to them. Now it's time to turn this focus inward and start to exercise some self-love and self-respect and rebuild. And not just rebuild to be where you were, but rebuild to be an even better version of. And I don't even say a better version of, just with a better awareness of things you may have looked over, that this breakup, this relationship may have revealed to you that you didn't even know about. So now you get an opportunity to put yourself under the microscope and really work on these things that were seemingly, that you were really just ignorant of. And now you're not. And so the process of doing that is the healing process, the healing and the growth process. And it's wild and it's ugly. And sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's the most magnificent thing. And that's why I refer to it as the roller coaster. There's going to be a certain amount of time when it's just going to suck for a little bit. That's just it. It's going to suck. Then it starts to level off to where maybe the predominant emotion is anger rather than just pure despair and grief. Then you shift into anger, which makes it a little easy at times because you're pissed off. How could they do this to me? Then you get angry at yourself. Then it goes from anger to acceptance. Okay, this is it. This is the way it's going to be. I'm just moving on. May as well not even pay attention to what's going on. And you get excited. You start feeling a little light, like all the weights lifting. And then you're right back in it. You're right back into missing them. You're right back into all the things you should have done better. Back to ruminating, back to... and this is normal. This is normal. It's going to be an emotional roller coaster for a little while. And the most important thing you do through this period of time, until things absolutely, authentically begin to level off, and you start seeing the real results, the real tangible results, and consistent results. Because just when you think you get this, iron resolve, it's it, done. They don't know what they're missing. I'm their best option, and they're lost, not mine, and all these things that seem so resolved and come from a place of strength. Look, in the beginning, it's going to come and go. There's no getting around that. There's no getting around that. for the first few months, 2 months, 3 months. Because remember, not only through this breakup are you dealing with a hit to the ego, a hit to the self-esteem, your neurological and body are chemically imbalanced. This person that you're used to being around, that you've bonded with, that you've had this attachment in a way, not an unhealthy attachment. Well, maybe it wasn't healthy. I don't know, but you've associated with this bond of love, closeness, connection, future, all these, and through that process, through those emotions, and through that connection, and through the physical, even the everyday, the sex, the laying in bed next to this person, like it chemically, your body chemically changes to adapt to that, and that's the feel good, oxytocin and all the other bonding hormones that have. When that's ripped away suddenly, that's upset. You're no longer getting that hit, that dopamine hit. And, hit's putting it a little bluntly, but it's essentially what it is. And it's comparable to that of somebody withdrawing off of drugs, who's not getting that flood of feel good chemically induced into their body. And it's the same thing. So your body needs time to balance out from that, let alone the mental. And I think when we have a better perspective on what to expect, going into the process and in dealing with the extreme anxiety at times, that extreme separation anxiety, especially if you're an anxious avoidant or and if you have some codependency issues, all these things can even increase that anxiety. And this is why it's so important that you do this work, so you never have to go through this again. And look, if you need my help, you know where I am. ProudMasculine.com, pricing, schedule a session. We'll begin a tailored plan immediately to help you along this, to help you through this difficult recovery process. I've coached people through this. I've helped men, I've guided men through this recovery process. There's going to be times when, and I've done it, I've had to do it myself. This is how I know. This is how I know. This is not a theory for me. Those times through the crippling anxiety, through the crashing depression after that high, through the uncertainty, the self-doubt, and leaving, being left to that alone sometimes results in some unfavorable behavior, unfavorable actions. Anything you do is basically going to come a point from a desperation, which eventually you rationalize your way into reaching out to this person, and it's not coming from a place of strength or resolve or care. It's coming from a place of desperation, anxiety, neediness, and needing that connection back. And it's so important that these things are kept in perspective, that this is going to be a roller coaster. It's going to be a process, and this is part of the process, the ups and the downs. And the most important thing through this process is to keep moving forward with the plan. There's going to be days when you are not in it, you don't feel like it, you don't believe in it, and things just seem impossible. You're never going to come out of it. It's never going to be. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. This is why it's so important to work with somebody who's been through this. And if the goal is getting your ex back, the last thing you want to do is go back to them from this place of neediness, desperation, anxious, fearful. That's not the way it's going to work. That's not going to go back and you're going to get a favorable outcome. And when the time comes and they reach out to you, you're not going to be ready. And it's going to come from the same place. And you're going to wind up back in the place you were. Or worse, a lot quicker. And chances are, if they come back and see that it's not changed, they're going to You're just going to remind them why they left, or they're going to think to themselves that, okay, I remember why I left now. Chances are you won't get another shot at that. But with that being said, to keep in perspective, this is a process. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, you're going to be happy, sad, angry, depressed, experience great clarity and these epiphanies. And then there's going to be some, no fucks given days where you're just kind of even keeled and you're not affected by anything, indifference. Knowing that your body is chemically adapting to what's going on, neurologically, you're adapting, you're rebuilding some neural pathways. Your body is chemically on a reset. And first you have to go through this withdrawal. Having that in mind and knowing that intellectually, when the times come, at the very least you can tell yourself, okay, I'm experiencing this. I'm experiencing the withdrawal from this person. I'm experiencing a chemical detox and my body is resetting. Neurologically, I'm suffering from this separation anxiety in the moment because of what's happening chemically and my association with this. And it can just kind of help get through that tough time. Through these moments, through the whole process, especially in the moments where you take the dip, it's important that you remember to practice self-care, self-love, and be patient with yourself. And don't give in to anything. Give yourself a moment. If you're having a bad day and the bad stuff, comes to the surface, acknowledge it, absorb it. Let it run through, experience it, and leave it be. If you try to fight it and you try to deny it, it's only going to get stronger and stick around and get worse. And just acknowledge the fact that this is supposed to happen. It's not abnormal. You're not fucked up. You're not broken. This is perfect. This is a perfectly normal response to having something just torn away from you. And it's a perfectly rational and normal response to want to reconnect and rebuild that connection. And just, through these times and the ways to show self-love is what you consuming. What you're consuming in your body, what you're eating and drinking. Obviously, alcohol and drugs is going to make you feel better in the moment. Doing some unhealthy things are going to feel better in the moment, but in the long run, it's going to prolong this process and make you feel worse. There's a price to come with a quick high, and that's a big low. Mentally, what are you consuming? And I mean that by content. If you're on YouTube, what are you looking at? Are you looking at things that give you false hope, string you along? Music? Are you listening to this sorry ass music that's got you feeling all down and missing and nostalgic and sad? Also, who are you hanging around with? Are you hanging around with people that encourage you and lifting you up, but also at the same time being tough, like a tough love, exhibiting tough love with you, and not letting you get away with starting to feel sorry for yourself. And at some point, there's people around to tell you, look, this is too much. It's going too far. Like you're dragging us out more than it needs to be. And I don't mean it's going to be exactly like that. I'm not being literal, but that's the message. What are you consuming to help? It's either going to be helping you or hurting you. So it's important, and that's even a great way to help shift your focus and put your attention onto something positive and productive and constructive and something that's going to build you a stronger foundation for the long term is what you're consuming. Content, music, people, environments, diet, staying away from alcohol and drugs, consuming, and then replacing these negative or limiting behaviors, thoughts, actions that have contributed to a lesser version of you. Replace that shit with going to the gym, with meditating, with elevating yourself, your thinking, broaden your horizons, read, walk, work out, eat better, sleep better, Like all these things contribute to building, reinventing yourself, leveling up at 2.0, coming out on the other end of this bigger, faster, stronger. Not the same or worse, with even more fears leading into the next situation, more fears and insecurities. So, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, please, on this or any other related topic you'd like to hear. See you on the next one.